Mukesh Kapila now in Geneva. He's an emeritus professor of global health and humanitarian affairs at the University of Manchester and former director for emergency response at the World Health Organization. Mukesh, it's good to have you. All right, so it has become a common image during this war of Ukrainian farmers with their tractors pulling Russian tanks that they find in their fields and forests. It's even been joked that one of the best equipped armies in Europe now are collectively Ukrainian farmers because of all the equipment that they've seized. But give us a sense of the state of Ukrainian farming at this moment. Has it gone on?
I think some farmers have been trying to do their best, especially in areas that the conflict has not quite fully touched. But overall, it's been a total catastrophe. Apart from farmers joining the fighting, the threat of bombing and the lack of inputs, it has inevitably brought Ukrainian wheat production to a halt.
What about on the Russian side? With all of these sanctions on Russia and Russia also being a big agricultural producer, what happens there?
Well, there's no war going on on Russian territory. So I don't see how the Russian farmers would be affected. Of course, sanctions have an effect, but Russia produces its own energy and can use it for domestic purposes. So I think Russia must still be producing plenty of food, or at least wheat and the major grains like that, for its own consumption and for export for anyone who wishes to buy.
And there's no sense of Russia being willing to retaliate against sanctions and control the supply of, say, grain coming out of its country?
I don't think so, because it would not be in its interest.
Right.
Well, firstly, it's as much foreign exchange as it can get, and as many dollars as it can get. Secondly, the countries that are deeply dependent on Russian-Ukrainian wheat are countries in the Gulf, some of whom have not imposed sanctions on Russia, countries in Africa who already have a favorite relationship. And I don't think they want to kind of antagonize those countries.
You know, Mukesh, we've been hearing these dire warnings about looming serious food shortages because of the war. How likely are we to see that? I mean, should people be preparing somehow right now?
You know, normally I'm skeptical of these things. However, in this case, David Beasley is absolutely right. There was a serious food insecurity situation prevailing before anyway. And now the acuteness of this crisis has turned, and I think the words like catastrophe are not exaggerated. So especially in those countries that were depending 70, 80% on imports from Ukraine and Russia, and who are wearing the worst of post-COVID situations, as well as the conflicts of their own, like Ethiopia or Yemen, then I see very little prospects of relief in the short term. It is indeed a catastrophe.
Disturbing. Okay, Mukesh Kapila, always good to hear from you. Thanks.
Thank you.